So today I'm going to talk about whether or not I think the Exparel shot is worth it as part of pain management for a tummy tuck. In May 2024, I had a tummy tuck with muscle repair, and I did have the Exparel shot as part of that process. And what the Exparel shot is, it's a nerve blocker. They inject it directly into your muscle during the surgery, and it is used for pain management. And they do that before they sew the muscles together. It was part of the package for my surgical group. It was included in the total cost. It was about $400. They don't mark it up, so they just give it to you at cost, but it is part of their pain management process. Now, when I woke up from the surgery, I could tell that there was a tightness in my abdomen, but it didn't hurt. Nothing really hurt. Everything was just kind of uncomfortable. And of course, depending on how your body reacts to anesthesia, I did a lot of shivering and shaking and things like that, just trying to wake up, trying to shake that anesthesia off. But beyond that, there was really no pain. I was very comfortable. They did give me pain meds before I left the surgical center. And then I was told to begin my pain medicine every 4 hours once I got home. And so when I got home, after 4 hours, I began my pain management regimen, and that was I was prescribed oxycodone. I was given enough for one every 4 hours for 7 days, so I had about 42 pills. So I did that. I took my phone and I set timers for every 4 hours, and every 4 hours, like clockwork, I was taking one. And they tell you to stay ahead of the pain. So I was in no pain, but they tell you to stay ahead of it. And so I just figured I was staying ahead of the pain because I was taking the medicine as on schedule. About day 4, I was quite over the oxy, to be quite honest. I would take it, it would kick in. About 45 minutes later, I got a little groggy, I would fall asleep, I would wake up, and then about 2 hours later, it'd be time to do it all over again. So by day 4, I was kind of over it. I was ready to stop taking it, but I really didn't want like the pain. I didn't know what to expect in terms of pain if I stopped taking it. So what I did was, the next time I was scheduled to take the oxy, I took 2 extra strength Tylenol, and I was like, let me just kind of see what happens. So I took the 2 extra strength Tylenol, and then about 6 hours later, I took 2 more, and then I took 2 more. I ended up taking 3 doses of extra strength Tylenol the first day, and still didn't have any pain. And I was very surprised, because I'm like, okay, for sure by now the Exparel has worn off. They tell you up to 72 hours. Again, this is day 4 at this point, 4 days post-op. So I'm like, the Exparel shot had to have worn off by now. But I had no pain. I was taking that Tylenol, and I just still didn't have any pain. So the first day I took 3 doses of extra strength Tylenol. The next day I took 2 doses of extra strength Tylenol. And then the next 2 days, I took 1 dose of extra strength Tylenol. And then after that, I was done with the Tylenol as part of a regular pain management process. And I still had no pain. Now, I will tell you, the most uncomfortable thing about the entire procedure is having to walk bent over, because your pull's so tight. And they tell you to walk bent over, and you're usually bent over for 2 to 5 weeks, typically, depending on your body and your own recovery process. But you're bent over, and that usually creates back pain, lower back pain, especially if you're walking long distances like that, or you're standing up for a long period of time. The first couple of days in the shower were horrendous. I didn't get a shower chair. My husband stood there to be sure I didn't fall or anything, but having to shower in that hunched over position, just standing for any length of time, is where the pain came in, and it was that lower back ache because you were standing like that. Once I could sit down and kind of relieve the tension on my back, then that kind of went away. The other things that are fairly painful if you do them are laughing, coughing, and sneezing. With laughing, I really had to catch myself. My husband likes to be a comedian sometimes. Sometimes I just had to walk out of the room, or, you know, I really had to keep myself from laughing. With coughing, I had cough drops. So in the middle of the night, I would feel a little something in my throat and I would grab a cough drop. Those cough drops have saved my life a couple of times. And then with sneezing. Now sneezing is different because I can never catch myself before I actually sneeze. So I have sneezed twice, and I promise you I have seen the pearly gates both times. It is the most painful thing ever. But I mean, it, you know, once you get through it, it goes away. It's not something that is a continuous pain. But oh my gosh, is it painful? And you have to think, you know, when you're laughing, you're sneezing, you're coughing, you use those core muscles. Your core muscles are tightening up, and you just had surgery on these muscles. Somebody has sewn these things together, and you're tightening them up by, you know, with laughing or coughing or sneezing. It is quite painful. But beyond that, the surgery itself, it just was not painful. It's just kind of uncomfortable. Again, having to be hunched over, walking, standing long distances, having to sleep sitting up. So I bought a wedge pillow set, and I slept sitting up with my legs bent. They call it the beach chair position. That was pretty uncomfortable. Just because I'm not used to sleeping sitting up. I'm a side sleeper, and I haven't been able to sleep on my side. Because you're always sitting with your legs bent, my knees were starting to ache because my legs were always bent over that wedge. And so those were kind of the things that have been uncomfortable thus far. But beyond that, it just has not been any pain, and I've been pleasantly surprised. So would I say the Exparel shot was worth it? Absolutely. Now, you know, folks will say, well, have you had a surgery without it? Not to my knowledge. The only other surgery that I've had was bariatric surgery about 10 years ago. And I don't know if I had it then or not. All I know is that I had this shot as part of this tummy tuck procedure. I've had absolutely no pain, and it cost me about $400. And so I'm like, that was absolutely worth it. It's one of those things where I feel like it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. It's like you don't know what you don't know. And so, you know, again, it wasn't optional for me. It was part of their pain management. And so I had to get it. I had to pay for it. But I'm very glad that they offered it. I'm very glad that they did. As part of my research, it wasn't really something that I had focused in on, with, you know, the pain management part of it. And so I'm just glad that they included it as part of their pain management regimen. Now, you know, I've heard that some folks have been charged $800, $1,000 for the medicine. Again, my surgical group didn't mark it up. They give it to you at cost. So it was about $400. And for me, it was money well spent. Now, you know, for you, you have to decide based on how much it is and, you know, what your pain tolerance is, whether or not you think that it's worth it. But it was, for me, absolutely worth it. If you have any questions related to the procedure, if you have any questions related to the Exparel shot or pain management in general, leave me a comment. I absolutely will answer any questions that I receive. If it's something that I need to do a separate video for, I will absolutely do so. So just leave a comment. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.